So yeah, TC and I get on about 5 seconds in. We start nerding out about where to sit on the exponential cost curve on a mining network NFT. Nerds. Anyway, TC, thanks for joining me this morning. I was hoping Jimmy was supposed to be here this morning, but he must be in like moving hell or something. I sort of expected him not to be.
Oh man, it'd be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
Yeah, especially overseas and with like a couple little ones and like holy crap. But yeah, so I'm just popping in game here. I figure at the very least we can get some gratitudes done. And then what I'd love to do, and this is why I asked TC if he could join us, is I want to go over the mining evolution proposal that I put out. There was it seemed like a few people that were sort of not super excited about the idea, and I feel like those are the people that should be. And so like I kind of wanted to walk through it and hopefully explain it better than I did in the proposal, and kind of map it out so that we can get a really good feel for why I got so excited about kind of putting this idea together. It's been like bouncing around the back of my brain for a while, right? TC, how many times have I talked to you over the last like 2 months? We're like, how do we do mining network stuff in some way, like this tokenomics in some way with the Uplift?
Oh, maybe 20 times.
Right? Like I couldn't stop thinking about it, and like my main idea was sort of like like kind of expansive, because I mean the tokenomics behind mining network are legit, and we'll get into some of the key reasons why I got excited about it, and why it's another one of these things where I think this kind of thing is going to become a genre. But so my initial ideas were like, how do we like do this whole thing or our version of it, and that was kind of an overbaked idea, shall we say. But I think the longer I looked at it, the more I realized the way that we run the pools for Uplift means that we can actually do a lot of the same things, but with no smart contracts. We've already got Nefty, we've already got Packs, right? We can have the same effect and achieve I think a similar result. And of course, we've got a bit of distribution that we just nerfed, so we can use it as as an experiment without dramatically affecting the amount of distribution that's going out for the whole game. Anyway,
I actually bought a bunch of Uplift miners yesterday. I think I bought all gens.
What's that?
I think I have almost all gens mythics.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, man, some of those have some pretty good power.
I was sweeping the floor up all the higher cards.
That's awesome. Okay, I also want to just show everyone.
Not that I'm chilling or
anything. So this is totally an aside. I'm gonna pull the game up so we can do gratitudes, but I've been messing around with DALL-E 2. And
what?
I've been messing. DALL-E 2 is the OpenAI artificial intelligent picture rendering from words.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I've been doing this with the Night Cafe. I've been doing it for a few months. I have hundreds. So like over the crypto winter, and I actually want to send you the little proto white paper I've been whipping up. Like, I've been having so much fun with this. I'm gonna start an NFT line on it, and I want it to last 128 weeks, because that's how long it's gonna take to get to the next top of the bull market, give or take, right? I've been having a blast with these things. It's been absolutely nuts.
So anyway, you just type in words and it makes an NFT,
it makes an image. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. I'll show you some of the ones that I've done, and just send me whatever. And this goes for anyone. Like, just DM me something that you would like to see what happens when the AI pops out. Like, I bought some time on the DALL-E 2 one, and I'm going to be spending some money on the Midjourney one that's just come out as well, just because they're putting together some like really, really amazing stuff. And it like could be anything, right? Like, a dog doing the dishes. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you just come up with something weird. I've got some that are crazy and some that are just suck, right? Like that's sort of part of the whole journey. Which I'm going to include those in the NFT line too. Like, some of them are going to be comments that are going to be like, whatever. But that'll make the good ones even better. Anyway, enough ranting, more gratituding. Boink.
So how many words can you put in?
I think kind of as many as I've never tested an upward limit, but like you want to be as descriptive as possible.
So here's a question.
Okay.
Have you ever thought about doing one entire song that you've made, just lyrics? and see what kind of picture it comes out with?
I haven't, but now we're gonna have to try.
That would be pretty cool if you took one of your songs.
Right? I'd be a little worried about noise because at a certain point it'll start ignoring stuff because there's too much data. But try that with the whole thing and then even break it down to verse.
Yeah.
Right? Because you could do a whole set. And this takes seconds. Like the speed that this all works it just doesn't make any sense at all. It's completely
that would be cool. And then you could sell like a series.
Yeah. I mean, I could make that I could bake that into the whole thing. I like it.
You could make a set of one song.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets weird, dude. It gets weird. And it's seriously like, and this, I saw somebody in one of the comment sections on one of the Facebook groups I joined this weekend that where people are doing the same thing. And they're like, wait a minute, how long before, you're designing like metaverse and 3D environments on the fly with just talking to it? And I'm like, yeah, I started talking about that a week and a half ago because it's inevitable now. Like that's gonna happen. Anyway,
that is really interesting.
It really is.
I'm actually grateful for cooler weather.
Nice.
It's been really hot here. Oh my god.
All right. Any other gratitudes? This morning.
Anything that I can stake. I'm grateful for staking. Stake for the bull market.
Right. All right, let me get this in here.
And I seen the shards were selling for a good price yesterday too, so I bought a pile of those.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So it's 100. You need 100 for a plot, right? Or is it 99?
99.
Okay. And is it on any map or just specific?
I think specific ones, like because anytime we do those, we have to put it into a pool where I don't think we can really take them out, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think we're doing like 20 land at a time or something. I think and you can check the blends on Nifty to see which ones are available. So this is one of the other things too. Is like, and we'll I'm gonna pull this thing up and we'll go through the whole thing, but the main thing is we need to get some revenue to keep the lights on. I mean, that's kind of like the for me the thing that keeps me up most nights.
Yeah, totally agree. Understandable.
Right, I think you're just trying to figure that out. So, and we're gonna re-up some promo on the Ethereum sale, and we can always do an odds and ends sale on Wax that have produced like some decent little results or whatever. But this would be a way like to basically maybe get us a few weeks to a month worth of runway from this. The idea would be to promote to people that aren't part of our ecosystem already. Just because I think it's a good standalone thing, right? Doesn't require Minecraft, yada yada yada. Like this is just the thing that can work. And yeah, so we're tossing around. I'll maybe just get through it because it got complicated, like more complicated than I originally wanted. But too many of the ideas kind of fit together to the point where it kind of made sense to kind of put them all together.
Oh yeah. And the mine test thing is going. The testing of it is going good.
Yep. Yeah. Gary had some more updates this morning. Gary's been working on a lot. He's a freaking godsend, that guy.
I bet.
All right. So, let me pull my screen up here. Sound effects are free. All right. So we don't need these things in here. Make it a little bigger. I guess that's kind of max, huh? Actually, I suppose we could do this too.
Yeah.
Just make it easy for people. All right, so for the miner pack sale, there'd be variable rate miners, 1x, 2x, 3x, common, rare, or epic. So we could use the EOS distribution savings. So that's about 20 million uplifting for a week. And to put this in context, I think that we are at I think that we're at about 280 million a week between miner and player rewards, right? So this is significantly less than 10% of the total. So it's not going to have a huge effect on inflation, really, especially considering we had stabilized the Upliftium economy without nerfing those things, right? So and then the proposal would be for 75% of that 20 million to go to these new miner pools, and 25% to go to proposed Uplift NFT staking pools. So we've got the million Upliftium NFTs. That's an NFT. We could make that a miner, which essentially is like staking it, holding it in your wallet. Will be the equivalent to having a share of that pool. And this gets even more interesting because we've been thinking about doing larger denominations for a long time. Like I want 100 million NFT just because I want one, right? Because like I buy Upliftium constantly, and right, and so like having denominations of 10 million Upliftium and 100 million Upliftium as NFTs, would be cool in and of their own right, but would also be cool to have their own pools, right? So we would have 3 more pools that would benefit those, and I have that outlined a little bit lower. So, TC,
I'm in.
Were you saying? Oh,
Let's
you weren't.
do
Okay. All right.
I agree.
Sign me up. Yeah, no, I mean that's like and here's the thing. This is why I was excited to have you on, and like I definitely Kindcoin and CryptoQ, like I really want them to understand. At least really understand why I'm excited about it. Like that, like reasonable people could still, disagree or whatever. But I hope that this can help people to really understand why I'm excited about it. And so like having you on is smart because like that you're the one who yelled at me constantly for literally a month. Hey, you have to get a mining network. I'm not getting into that freaking stupid fucking NFT bullshit. Blah 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 blah. But you worked me over pretty hard. And now it's my second biggest position behind Uplift. It's smart. It's just smart, and we'll get into a few key reasons why. It works out really well. Anyway, so just to break down the pack sale again, the commons would be 57% rare, 28% epic, 14%. And the early bird price, like we wanted to set it up so that people really have an incentive to buy early, right? So the first 250 packs go for 100 wax, which is like what, like $8 right now. The Keter price, we would sell 500 packs at 130, 500 at 160, 500 at 220, and you have again a random chance to get one mining NFT from each one of these packs.
Okay.
Additionally, we're thinking about doing a pack sale for a random number of shards. So you buy a shard pack and you get like 2 or 4 or 10 or something, right? I haven't really fleshed out those ideas yet, but that was kind of an idea we were kicking around. So here's the new miner mechanic. For these pools, then potentially pending DAO vote, slowly expanded to all pools, if and when we see the long-term benefit. You can buy a miner pack by blending Upliftium NFTs. So this is basically spending Upliftium NFTs, right? To get a new miner.
That's
right.
Brilliant.
And it's the same as, for a mining network, right? Like you're mining shares and you use those shares to upgrade stuff, right? But you can also trade those shares in for a BTK, which is coming out in a very consistent amount every single day, right? Same for us because of the way the pools work. We sort of skip the shares bit by just having a dynamic pool. And, the only way to get new packs is to spend what you earn, right? So it creates a massive channel. It's funny, too. They were saying that, most of the circulating supply of BTK is now staked, right? Whether in liquidity pools or in their new metric. Yeah, but it's only, I think, between all of it, I think there's only about 1 million BTK out there, and there should be like 6, I think, right? Like how much is actually sent out, or maybe it's only 10%. But I think like the amount that's been burned to produce more packs is shockingly large, right? Like, and I haven't done the math on it, but it's huge, right? So when I say that, the ability to turn around and use Upliftium to gain access to different pools is a really big deal, and I am very confident that it would be the highest Upliftium sync that we've ever seen, right? More Upliftium will get burnt and spent in that way than anything that we've seen so far. And that's pretty exciting to me, right? Because like, it doesn't matter how much Upliftium you have, if there's nothing on the buy side. If I don't have a reason to go in and buy it all the time, maybe because I have 8 NFTs and I need 10 to get this pack, and so I'm going to go in the market, I'm going to buy it, or I'm going to go to Alcor and get Lithium and trade it in or whatever, right? But I constantly think about, all these NFTs are great. Who's buying them and why, right? And that's what this is really about, making a long-term consistent reason to be buying these things. Again, we're going to be releasing features all the time. There's already reasons to do it. We had already, in fact, balanced the Upliftium economy, right? The buyers and sellers were more or less in sync, right? And so we had, some okay, not huge or anything, but we had some volume, and the price was pretty stable and going up a little bit, which is awesome, right? But we want to create.
Plus, if you play the game, you'll be able to get Upliftium, which then you could buy a miner with.
Right.
I mean,
right. Like it just
out, right?
Yeah, it gives use case of the whole thing. The player economy gets a little bit better. The landowner economy gets a little bit better, right? Like anything that creates a huge buy side long term for Upliftium can only eventually redound to higher land prices, right? Anyway, so so you can buy a miner pack by blending Upliftium NFTs, basically by spending Upliftium. There's going to be one set price for these packs subject to increase on a schedule. So price in Upliftium will increase 10% every 500 packs sold. I'd love to get your opinion. So I have two different ways we could do this, and I'm not sure which one is best. So let's say the packs are they start out at and I haven't done pricing math on this yet, so it might be significantly different. I'm not 100% sure, but let's say it was 10 Upliftium NFTs, 1 million Upliftium NFTs. For a pack to get you a random miner, right? To get to assign to one of the 3 different pools. So do we increase it by 10% every 500 packs sold, or increase the pack sale in lithium by 10 to 25% every 90 days, right? So basically, the idea is, and this again is inspired by Mining Network, they effectively are going to drop the amount of BTK that's getting sent out by 12% actually. Every about 120 days, right? Every 4 months.
Is it 12% or 14? I thought I just read it today.
It might be 14. It might be 14. Yeah. Long story short, over the course of a year, it's gonna halve, right? So that basically is like a high-speed Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin halves every 4 years. Mining Network is hold my beer. What if we did it every year, right? And consistently over time, so it's not going to have a supply shock that's going to take a long time to work itself through the system, right? It's something that is going to get baked into kind of the whole thing. It's a really, really interesting model, and one that I was talking to people about a year and a half ago, right? We just never, got around to doing it. So I was really excited when I saw it, because like this is going to work, right? So, effectively, we can use it for time, or we can, basically say every time 500 sell. While I'm thinking about it, suddenly there's less of an incentive to buy packs if you are buying the 499th one, right? Because the next one is going to be, so we almost have to do the time thing, right? Because if I know that if it's a set amount of time, I want to buy as many packs as I possibly can before that cutoff. Right?
Exactly.
If it's a set number of packs, you kind of have that. I don't know. I'm still a little bit undecided. What's your gut tell you?
Honestly, either way.
Okay.
Either way, I'm good. I think that's something you'd have to let the DAO figure out.
Okay.
If it gets, give them the option and let them, talk about it.
Yep.
But I like this whole idea.
What options it is. Yeah, cool. So new random pack sale will continue unlimited at current price until a DAO vote change those prices, with prices always going up. I'm actually going to get rid of that. That's not what I want. Although, I mean, the DAO can vote to change this at any time anyway. So here's the other idea. 50% of received Upliftium NFTs get burned. And 50% of the NFTs get retained by their treasury, and DAO and the DAO votes on how to dispose of it quarterly. So, we really could burn it all. But I wanted to give us a bit of a way to get Upliftium into the uplift economy, where
Yeah, for
we
sure.
might be able to gain some benefit from it. So here's just some examples. By
So
no way,
why don't you take a percentage of it and give it to rewards to the landowners or
like,
players or whatever?
well, this is the thing. So World DAO bonuses, right? Like I want to set up World DAOs so that we could vote to distribute all of it to the World DAOs or to the top 4 World DAOs or whatever, right? Like we could set up proposals quarterly to do that. We could just burn it if we want to, right? So that would be an option. We could use it for promotion on the socials, right? We could use it to give it away to people running videos or whatever.
Yeah.
We could use it for competitions or prizes for the PvP or other events, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sort of specific things. Bonuses for team MVPs, like core team or people that are doing a lot of work in the committees or whatever. We could maybe nominate some people and give them some bonuses. Donate to partner projects for conspicuous awesomeness, right? If there's any partner project that comes in and does something really, really cool or helpful or whatever. We could add to the bounty program. We haven't really launched that yet, but there's like an idea we've been tossing around in the team channel for a long time. Like, just let's set up, like, what are some big questions that we're not working on right now in the sort of R&D department that we could assign a bounty to, whether it's in DAO tokens or something else, and just let people play with it and just see what happens. It's something that I think we should really move on at some point. Anyway, Uplift DAO could and should burn the Upliftium ceremonially each month by throwing something in the big volcano in Old World. At the most basic, this burning should be very public and loud. Like the main, if you burn tokens, in the dark, it has almost no effect, right? Like the amount of it floating around gets limited, which is great, right? So you'll see like a bit of a supply shock, but it doesn't have that much effect on the economy. If people see you do it, right, it has that psychological effect of creating sort of confidence. It creates that narrative, right? Mm-hmm. And so the times where I've seen tokens do very big burns, the ones that see a successful result on it, it was all just like splattered all over the place on every single one of the socials. So I just kind of wanted to code that in here just so that people are sort of aware of that function, right? If we're gonna burn, we're gonna burn at least half the tokens anyway. We should do so very, very publicly as we possibly can.
Yeah, good idea.
And if we can have a crazy freaking ceremony where we ceremonially throw something into the volcano, that's just something I've wanted to do for a long time. I don't know, so it's fun. All right, so that's the new mining thing. Do you have anything to say about that? Like, any of it sort of remind you of anything, or I know you're as excited about it as I am, but like, anything pop out to you?
No, it's all good. I just wanted to go through so we can, bro.
Rock and roll. All right, so new Upliftium NFT rewards pools. I think the way that I'd broken it down, so 15 million up per week is going to go to this new process, right? If it passes, and then 5 million would go to the new kind of reward pools for just holding Upliftium NFTs. So you don't actually have to stake these things; you just need to have them in your wallet, right? Like, that's how our system has always worked. So firstly, kicking myself for not thinking of this before, for real. Like, I don't know why I didn't think of this before. So we will be releasing new blends that will allow people to get higher denominations of Upliftium NFTs, i.e. 10 million and 100 million. We're going to do that anyway. Like, that's something that has been on the books to do for a long time. So all blends are going to have a small requirement for shards, like a small transfer tax to give the new shard economy a little move. So let's say 5 shards per blend, right? So every time you blend from 10 NFTs into the 10 million one, it requires 5 shard NFTs, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And those all get burned. Like, we're going to get rid of all those. I should add that in. I think everything in blends gets burned anyway, so whatever. So we should assign Upliftium drip pools that will make these NFTs miners, akin to staking them for rewards. This gives us a basic, easy way to incentivize the saving of Upliftium and will act as a currency velocity decrease, locking up more supply, which have a measurable supply shock effect. Now, it's a bunch of wordy words. if I have reason to not spend Upliftium, that means there's less on the open market, and the supply and demand curve will have it, it'll affect that, right? If there's less of it around and demand stays consistent, then the price goes up. If there's less of it around and demand increases a little bit, the price goes up actually significantly, right? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. All right, so we proposed 3 different pools. Pool 1, 2 million Upliftium per week for anyone holding 1 million Upliftium NFTs. Pool 2, 1.5 million Upliftium per week for those holding 10 million Upliftium NFTs. And pool 3, 1.5 million Upliftium per week for those holding 100 million Upliftium NFTs. And I kind of am excited about that. Like, I have a couple 100 million Upliftium. Again, like, I buy Upliftium constantly. Everyone else is allowed to do the same thing. Like, I want to get into that pool. I think it's going to be pretty rarefied air, right? Anyway, I get excited about goofy shit. And again, like, it should be noted that the more people, let's say like 10 people get into pool 3, right? It's pretty good right now. But like, there's also suddenly an incentive for everyone else to get in there, right? So like, why wouldn't you want to get in there? And so that pool will get diluted, and that is a very, very good thing in my opinion, right? Because we want more people doing more stuff, having access to those pools. It's the same thing goes on in mining network, right? Like the hash rate in mining network, the amount of NFTs that are mining, that hyperinflation thing that we saw on our planet is happening with mining network. Here's how they solved it, right? The shares, the sort of, and I love that they attach it to hash rate, because hash rate is constantly going up for Bitcoin. Computers are constantly getting better. The cost is around the same. Like, they really have mapped it to the sort of physical mining of Bitcoin mechanics and the economy behind that in a way that is just brilliant, frankly. Like, kudos. It's well done.
Very well done. Smart.
Right. And so we know hyperinflation is terrible. We saw that with our planet, and we saw it all coming a long time in advance, right? So, mining network, the hyperinflation is happening with shares, and you trade shares in for BTK in a pool that is dynamic. So what I realized in my sort of aha moment last week while we were messing around with this is that because our pools are static, we already have that, right? No matter how many NFTs you throw into a pool, it will only give out 2 million Upliftium a week or whatever it is, right? And so, we've sort of handled that already, which I think is kind of fun. Now, on the flip side, if anyone says, okay, I'm not making enough in this pool anymore, and they take that NFT out and sell it, well, now that pool actually got better for everybody else, right? So our pools are actually reverse dynamic in a way that mining network just never will be. It's like the amount of power that you need to stay relevant is only going to go up, which, if you look at it long term, is a very good thing, which is kind of fun. But it doesn't allow, like, because I've seen a lot of people coming in and going like, oh man, is this number only gonna get worse or whatever? Like, yeah, you have to stay in front of it. That's the game, right?
Well, yeah.
Anyway, it's very fascinating. So yeah, that's the whole thing. I guess it wasn't really, I mean, if you go over it, because I saw some people asking some questions that kind of suggested they hadn't really read it. I would recommend everyone, either read it or watch this. We've been talking for a half hour, only about 20 minutes on this. So do you have any, is there any questions? Like, is there anything that you can think of that, I can maybe explain better or we can dig into?
Oh, I think you've said it perfectly. It totally makes sense to me. I'm sitting here buying the floor on Upliftium right now. In case it goes through.
Yeah, I mean, that's, who knows, right? I don't know if it's going to go through either. Well, and see, now this is where, like, anytime, because we've got a standing rule on our inside team that if we have information that we haven't published, no one is allowed to make any moves on it, right? So we had the time, way back in the day where I think some of the blends or whatever we were talking about, I think like Super Sam jumped the gun and started like buying some stuff up or whatever. And we'd never talked about it. We just kind of sort of assumed that, people wouldn't do that, but she's a degen like the rest of us. So it's like, it kind of made sense. But we, somebody pointed it out. Like, I didn't know about it. Somebody pointed it out and we talked to her about it. She apologized and we reversed all that stuff and we fixed it. And then like hard coded the rule. Like, if you're in the core team, where we're talking about this stuff like that, don't necessarily do that. But now that the DAO vote is out, like it's public before we've even decided now.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I like about the DAO. Yeah, absolutely.
I have some speculative conversations with Tuttle. Like I talked through all this stuff with her. Like she's kind of my first sanity check, right? Because like I throw ideas at her constantly, and some of those ideas she's like, Corey, that's not. No, you just need to settle down. Just get off.
Yeah.
Right. But when I drop an idea to her, it's like, no, this is good, right? That's sort of like how I go from like, should I make this into a worker proposal or should I just like drink less coffee, right?
Yeah.
By the way, Jittery Ape Coffee, fucking Framed Games, Tiny Miss B, fucking got my coffee, dude, and it is good.
Now here's a question to you: can you buy her coffee with Upliftium?
Jittery Ape Coffee? No, but I'm sure if we asked them to do a blend for Upliftium NFTs, they'd say yes.
Well, can you do it on Nifty then?
Yeah, why not?
On Nifty? Just give the option that you can buy.
Yeah, they're on Nifty, and this is the thing. Like Liftium hasn't been available on Nifty for a while, but blends are the same thing, right?
I'm just thinking of more utility for Upliftium. That's all.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. Now, again, the thing there is walking all the way, like that makes it good on the community end, like on getting more people to understand what Upliftium is. But like they are a startup trying to pay the bills. So that puts as much sell pressure on Upliftium as it does buy pressure, right? I got to buy Liftium. I'm going to spend some coffee on it. And then, they very, very likely, I mean, because their margins, they have to pay for the coffee, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 50% or 80%, but right off the bat, they're going to have to sell that Upliftium to do business, right? That's one of the things where, and I love the idea of the more, economies of scale we can get attached to Upliftium, the better. But it's not always the best, necessarily. And I could be wrong about that too, right? Like because the network effect of that visibility could end up creating more buy pressure than sell pressure anyway, right? So like all of it, if we had 1,000 stores that were doing that, obviously that would be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Do they only deliver to the U.S. or worldwide?
That's a good question. I think it's worldwide. I can't super duper remember. Yeah, you should ask Framed or just hit them up on Twitter. I think they do international.
Okay.
I thought I saw something about that. All right. Well, cool. Well, I'll probably leave this up for because I don't know. I might actually just do the pre-proposal thing. I left it up all weekend, right? Like I asked everybody to comment or whatever, and like there was some conversation about it in the DAO channel.
I think we should have. I think we should have another one of these meetings and have KuCoin on here.
What's that?
We should have another conversation like this again, but have KuCoin in.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to do that. All right, I'll let's message him after this, and we'll maybe like I don't think we have anyone on. Oh no, you know what I do? I think we do have some people on tomorrow.
Whatever.
Yeah, maybe like afternoon because I know he gets he's in Hawaii, right?
He's correct, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe we could do even something this afternoon, and we'll just walk it through again.
Yeah, in the evening.
That's a good idea.
Whenever it's more convenient for him, yeah.
Okay. Cool beans. All right, we'll message him. All right, man. Well, do you have anything else going on that you want to chat about? I gotta sort of kick off here in a minute.
No, I'm in buy mode now.
Sounds good. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you guys later.